Yeah. They talking this and that, but it's easy calling that bluff. They want that gimme, 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 but this isn't ABBA. I show up looking dapper, my mama's favorite rapper. She taught me never let a moment pass you, so I just run away, and I never look back. I hope it's what I'm hoping for. Run away, I got my backpack. Travel light, got my life inside a suitcase. Bought a ticket, I'm just trying to find a new place. What's the occasion, baby? Just another Tuesday. Okay, I feel like a movie. Okay, it's just another Tuesday. Say that you're lonely, then send me your ID. Got nothing to hold me right where I'm at. So come and hit closely, want you to be happy. You're tired of roaming right off the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4. She said I'm overzealous, she said I'm all but jealous. I probably would've said the same thing looking back. She said I'm out my melon, I never learned my lesson. I probably would've said the same thing looking back. Day one, yeah, you been my day one. When they hit me for the sauce, I gave them all that A1. Fake love, yeah, they give me fake love. You the only one I wanted with me on my way up. Can we just run away, and I never look back. I hope it's what I'm hoping for. Run away, I got my backpack. Travel light, got my life inside a suitcase. Bought a ticket, I'm just trying to find a new place. What's the occasion, baby? Just another Tuesday. Okay, I feel like a movie. Okay, it's just another Tuesday. Say that you're lonely, then send me your ID. Got nothing to hold me right where I'm at. So come and hit closely, want you to be happy. You're tired of roaming right off the mat.
What is up, everybody? Happy 2025. It's been a hot minute since we have been on the Collective podcast. Some of you may be seeing this stream live. Some of you may be hearing or watching the recording. But Shane, we're back, man. We're gonna show up more often on this podcast, I think, in 2025.
We're going to do what we're going to talk about today on the podcast.
That's right. Because you just had what you call Dwell Fest. You have Dwell Mortgage, which is your mortgage company, and man, you got your people together, and you were talking to our team at the Collective about some of the things that you talked to your Dwell team about, and we very quickly were like, why are we not making podcasts out of this stuff? This is an incredible conversation at the perfect time of year for us to have publicly with anybody that wants to listen. And it's going to be based around why resolutions are bull boop. That's it, right? That's what it's about. And so why out of anything you could have talked to your team about, why was this the approach, the angle, the context that you chose?
Couple reasons. First, I've worked with a lot of originators. You know, and you as well. I've worked with a lot of real estate agents, salespeople in general, and I'm so tired of people that talk about their goals and they do their business plan. And I think what I'm most tired of is people who don't know that they're lying to your face.
Yeah.
You know, and so as I've gone through and experienced a lot of things in business, I realized that it's really not about a resolution. It's about outcomes and actions. And your actions are your commitments and your outcomes are your goals.
Yep.
And the danger in talking about the result, focusing on that, is you never get there, because you go, I'm going to climb that mountain. And I was blessed to be able to almost summit Mount Rainier, which is the tallest peak in the lower 48.
Okay.
And I'm standing down at the parking lot and I'm looking up at the top and I'm like, there's no way I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And then I had these coaches that were professional climbers, my guides, and we had training and we had a plan. And they said, this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to get there. And I will never forget this. I had not trained for this. And I rented, like when you go climbing, you typically don't wear hiking boots. You wear alpine, like hard plastic climbing boots. And if you've never done this, it like absolutely destroys your feet.
Oof.
And so like you're wearing ice crampons, you're climbing in the snow. We had a blizzard. It was like a whiteout condition where I couldn't see anything but my feet in front of me.
Wow.
But what was crazy about all that, and this is so true for life, I can't see jack. But I remembered at one point having clarity and seeing the peak.
Yeah.
In my day, I couldn't see anything but my foot in front of me. And literally my guide was like, and again, I'm not a professional climber. I was a professional, like just business guy who wanted to do that. My guide's like, we're going to get to the top. Don't worry. And then I'm like, what happened to Greg? He's like, Greg didn't make it. Greg went back down. I couldn't see Greg quit, but Greg quit, like 3 guys quit. And all of a sudden, after like 12 hours of one foot in front of the other, the actions, which I just committed to doing, it opens up and I'm at base camp, which is at like 10,000 feet.
Wow.
And then you get to the summit. And so that's just a kind of an example. And I actually didn't share this story with my team, but isn't that what we do? That's what the winners do. They go, there's the summit. And then they make a daily plan of attack. And then they look down at their feet and they just do one step in front of the other and they make it to the top.
Yeah.
What most do is they go, look at that beautiful summit. I'm going to get there. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's go. And they don't have a guide. They don't have a plan. They don't have a commitment to actions that they know are going to work because somebody's already climbed to the top, come back down and told them how to get there.
Right.
And so that was really the mindset behind this meeting I did with my team. The theme was outwork opportunity. And that's because everybody's given really the same opportunity. When you get your license in lending, everyone has the same opportunity. And COVID made that even more true.
Yeah.
I can lend in the same states you can, right? And so we all have this opportunity. Some get to the top, some stay at base camp. And what's the difference? And it's a combination of a bunch of different things, the right equipment, the right guide, but you've got to have a plan. And so that's where I think resolutions are bull, because they are, because no one who is great at making resolutions and terrible at committing to actions that work and then doing that.
Yeah.
Those are two different people. Like the people who really focus on winning, they focus on what do I do every day. The people who focus on the outcome, the prize, never get there.
Well, what I find interesting about all this is, I've lost over 100 pounds multiple times in my life, which means I've also gained 100 pounds multiple times in my life. And what I find fascinating about when we talk about goal setting, resolutions, right, creating the daily activities, whether you achieve what you set out to achieve or you achieve the opposite, you end up doing a plan, whether you realize it or not. Like for me to gain 100 pounds, there are daily activities that I have to participate in to get me to gaining 100 pounds. Just like there are daily activities that I can participate in to lose it. And so it's really not, are we choosing to do something or nothing? We're always choosing to do something.
Yes.
And so I think we're all far more capable of doing great things than we allow ourselves to believe. We just got to get around the right people. And I think that's why, and I forget what part of the world they call them Sherpas, right? You essentially had Sherpas that were leading you up the mountain. You were your company's Sherpa the other day when you gave them this strategy. And man, I'm excited to dig into this and see how many parts we end up making this thing.
Well, and guys, what the goal of this whole process is to come up with 3 to 5 simple actions to take every day. And I'm not saying that you should commit to your entire day. I think honestly, all these things could be done in probably an hour or less a day.
Yeah.
And this time that we're talking about, these simple actions we're talking about, first and foremost, you need to acknowledge and agree to working hard. Like you're not going to get where you want to go by cutting corners and half-assing it. You're just not.
Yeah.
I wrote this down for my team about hard work breeds opportunity.
Yep.
it's like a bunny rabbit. They just make more bunnies, man. Like the harder you work, all these opportunities start coming up, and pretty soon more opportunities, and they multiply.
Yeah.
And then when you look back, you go, how did I have 5 apartment syndications I'm a part of. And people go, how'd you get an apartment syndication? I'm like, I met this guy. He did this thing. He had a podcast. I reached out to him. I went to his course, and lo and behold, 7 years later, I got 5 apartment syndications with him. And his wife just called me this morning, right? Like hard work breeds opportunity. The goal is to be able to first and foremost identify your business identity so that you select and commit to actions that are actually going to work, that are actually going to make you money, that you're actually going to enjoy. And if you do it right, it's going to impact other people positively. And what we're describing is this philosophy that my business coach told me called IKIGAI.
Yeah.
And IKIGAI is a Japanese philosophy around building holisticness to your everyday actions, so that when you just focus on one foot in front of the other, the 3 things you're doing every Monday for an hour that you're good at, you enjoy, make you money, and bless others, you look back at the end of the week and you go, I had a phenomenal week.
Yeah.
And they go, how many hours did you work? You seem like you only worked like 10 hours a week. I'm like, I worked 65, but it was things I enjoyed. It was things I loved. Or I go, I had one of my most impactful weeks ever. And they go, man, you must have worked 60 hours. Like, I actually worked 25.
Yeah.
But I was literally just doing things I love that I'm good at, that make me money and bless others. And so the goal is to, by the end of this journey, these episodes, these parts that we're going to go through, we're not just going to talk about what everybody does. They say, work hard, focus, all this other BS. I want to actually tell you what boots to buy to get up to the mountain. I want to tell you, this is the rope you need. You don't need that rope. This is the cheapest rope that will get you to the top, that won't burn your hands. I want to tell you, hey, this guide is a great guide. I want to tell you that what Greg did that forced him to walk back down and quit before we even got to base camp was this, right? And so then you go, I've got a plan. I've got a set of actions that I commit to. And here's the cool thing about when you actually do that and you get into this Ikigai state, once you get there and you realize the results from that, you're like, I got to get here more often, bro. This is unbelievable. And then you have this fulfillment in business and you don't burn out. Because what most people do is they go, I'm an old school LO and I'm gonna die. Because I've been told that old school LOs can't make it because of AI and et cetera and et cetera. Or you go, man, I'm this modern lender, but man, I can't get these people to pick up, fill out my lead form. And I don't know how to relate to people. And if somebody threw me in a room with 100 agents, I don't know if I'd be able to convert them.
Right.
And so what we did is we took this thought process around outworking your opportunity. We all agreed that the harder we work, the luckier we get, that opportunities breed opportunities through the hard work. We started to look at, understanding that, like, when we bring up discontent, when we bring up dissatisfaction, it's because we're not in Ikigai. We're doing something we're good at, but we don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
We're doing something we enjoy that doesn't make us money, right? We're either the miserable lawyer or the happy finger painter, right?
Yeah.
We're in one of those extremes. And so we go, well, it's because I'm old school. Well, it's because I'm modern. And the reality is, when I looked at the type of LO I wanted old school LOs. I wanted modern LOs, but I didn't just want an old school LO. I wanted an old school LO who was coachable and didn't mind being inquisitive enough to dabble in the modern. Yeah. I wanted the modern LO that understood and acknowledged that, man, the guy who brings the briefcase every day and 7:30 every morning gets his coffee and makes 5 gratitude calls, I can respect that.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's this combination of traits. So we're going to go through in future episodes, we're going to go through and break down these different personalities, these different sales personas. We're going to talk through who you want to be, because it's one thing to identify who you are. You go, man, I'm old school. Great. It doesn't take a coach. It doesn't take a guide to go from there to just there. Like, going from old school to old school requires no coaching. You're there. what requires coaching, accountability, and a guide is going, I'm old school, but I've got to change my blend a little bit here, you know? And then we start to get into, you know, the pitfalls of each, the benefits of each, the most common actions that people who are crushing it in that identity do every day.
Yep.
And then we go, I'm not making a yearly business plan ever again. I'm making a daily plan of attack that I am excited to commit to every day. And that's a very different philosophy in business.
And so, but before Shane, we're going to jump in and break down all these different types of LOs that we've seen throughout all of our years of doing this, that you've been having actually been doing this for forever in the industry. Man, I want to, as you were breaking down IKIGAI, man, God put this vision in my head of like, oh my gosh, that's what I did 8 years ago. But I didn't know what IKIGAI was. I wasn't smart enough to do it on purpose. I happened to find success sometimes on accident. And man, to help people understand, like, for somebody that's lost right now, which a lot of our industry is, and then you look at this diagram, if you go search IKIGAI, IKIGAI, right? IKIGAI, it'll show you, right, how you want to be in the center of this quadrant of you love it, the world needs it, you're great at it, and ultimately you want to be paid for it. And so, bro, I remember so vividly 8-ish years ago when I was working with realtors and I was trying to sell them websites, which sucked. And nobody wants that call. Hey, it's Kyle. You want to buy a website? No, I don't. And so I remember stopping and going, God, what am I great at? And what do they suck at? And so all I understood was the great part, which is one of the 4 quadrants, and then the world needs it. And I thought, what is the crossroad? And that was when God told me, you should be teaching classes because you're a great communicator. You love speaking in front of people. And then they're really bad at social media. And that was my first moment of experiencing the beginning of IKIGAI. What I didn't know then was you could actually get paid to do it, which ultimately came later. But that is how simple it can be for the person watching, listening to this. If you are lost, if you believe in Jesus like you and I do, you should stop and pray. If you don't believe like we do, call upon the universe, whatever it is that you do that allows you to experience something bigger than yourself, and just start asking questions into the universe. And I believe that before they even get to episode 2 of this series, they're going to start having some thought process of, oh, this is what I'm great at. I love doing this. I used to do this 5 years ago in the beginning of my business. And then when I got busy, I stopped doing that. But that's really what I enjoyed. And I believe that clarity will begin to happen by asking those important and significant questions.
So there's a couple of conversations you have to have with yourself while you're doing this. So as I was going through this exercise with my team, there's a lot of self-doubt and self-harm being done unintentionally. And an example, one of my employees, she's old school, and she's like, she'll run down a hill with the old school flag.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to acknowledge a few things. And we got her to, and she's like, I'm old school. Like, I'll just never get technology. I'm not good at it. And I said, you're not, she goes, I'm not smart enough or something like that. And I go, you're not? I go, I don't think you're properly motivated. Yeah. And I go, okay, so you tell me, Cynthia, that like, you're not good at something, but you're not motivated. I said, can you lift 200 pounds? And she's like, probably not. I go, okay, well, your son weighs 200 pounds. What if I took your son and threw him in the ocean, and if you didn't pull him out, he would die? Would you pull your son out of the ocean? She's like, of course I would. I'm like, it's not that you're not capable.
Yeah.
You're not properly motivated. So that's one thing, right? So we have to stop talking down to ourselves. There's enough people in the world that will tell you suck.
Yeah.
Because they're insecure. Stop doing it to yourself, first and foremost.
Yep.
Second, quit telling yourself that if you're not the best of all time, Michael Jordan, that you can't do something well and be successful at it. We shared a story at the beginning of that session with my team. And it was an experience that Jason Williams, who now goes by, I think, Jay Williams.
Yep.
He won a national championship with Duke. So he was very successful. And then he got to the NBA and was reset back to being just a scrub, which is
I think he was even the number 1 pick.
He was number 2 pick. Good. You're close. You're close. Okay. Number 2 pick, I think, of the Chicago Bulls. So again, this guy goes from being the best point guard in all college basketball, winning the national championship with Duke on probably one of the best overall college programs of all time.
Yep.
To the NBA, drafted second. But again, once you get to practice and you're playing these other grown men, you're just a scrub. So he goes into a game where he's going to play the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, national championship, high quality dude, amazing athlete, very articulate, just successful dude. But again, your mind will tell you that you're not that great over and over and over again because you have ears that listen to others and they're connected to your brain.
Yeah.
Goes into this. He's like, I'm going to practice. I'm going to get in early and warm up because I'm playing against Shaq and Kobe and they just won a championship. And like, this is a team you don't just roll in late after playing Xbox.
Right.
So he comes into the gym and Kobe's already there covered in sweat. He's like, how long has this dude been here? Right. He does his warm-ups for an hour and a half. He's like, I got to get, go sit in the sauna and start doing my pregame stuff. Kobe's still practicing. He sits down, watches him for 25 minutes, finally gets up because he's got to get going and leaves. That game, Kobe dropped 40 on him. And after the game, he's like, I gotta ask. He's like, why? He goes up to Kobe and he's like, why were you practicing for so long? And Kobe Bryant says, because I saw you come into the gym and I wanted you to know that I was going to defeat you. And so and I respect you, you're a phenomenal player. So you made me stay longer. I say that because that's a definition of outworking your opportunity. Kobe Bryant, Jason Williams had the exact same opportunity that day. Kobe Bryant outworked him. I could argue that Kobe Bryant wasn't the most talented and athletic basketball player in the NBA. Now, again, he was excellent. He really worked hard. He committed to his craft. Like, again, you're not going to be a millionaire in mortgage if you don't do some things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have to. But he outworked that opportunity. And if you asked Kobe Bryant, he would tell you that he wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't the most talented. He would literally kill you in his mind with his work ethic. He would strangle you every day in his mind with his work ethic, and he outworked you. And he didn't mind that he wasn't as talented as you. He didn't let that story have him quit before he even started practice.
Well, and I think this is a great place to wrap this part, and you guys will get to listen to part 2. But one of my favorite Kobe stories is in the Olympics, and they go to the gold medal game, and at that time, Paul Gasol, who was one of the best players in the NBA at that time, was his teammate on the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, they were boys. And there was a young LeBron on that team, a young Melo on that team, a young Chris Bosh on that team. And they're all telling this story of, on the first time down the floor, Kobe comes off a screen and essentially just shoulder charges Paul Gasol. He goes flying to the ground.
Annihilates Paul Gasol. You have to watch this highlight.
It's
absolutely
unbelievable.
Destroys him.
And Paul Gasol's face is like, what just happened? Because again, right, in his mind, they're boys.
Yeah.
And you hear all these young guys talking about how in this moment we were like, oh, like, Kobe's for real. He didn't come here to play. Like, he came here to win at all costs. And in the slides that you shared with your team, like, one of the things that I love that you put in here is that what'd you say? You said working hard costs you nothing. And so what I hope people see as we go through this series and break down IKIGAI and give you guys actionable things that are going to help you in 2025, get beyond resolution to actions you can take every day, is some of y'all, and I'm talking to myself too, you just need to go find the work ethic that you used to have. Like at some point, you were waking up earlier, you were maybe going to bed a little bit later, you weren't taking a lunch every day, you weren't saying yes to all the meetings that people wanted with you because you were so laser focused on what was ahead of you that you were doing anything to make that happen. And I've probably never met somebody, Shane, that said, you know what, I worked really, really hard for 18 months and nothing good ever happened.
I regret working hard.
You know?
Yeah. You ever met somebody that regrets their previous hard work? I've never met someone.
Right. And so, bro, I'm so excited to dig into this. It's going to be incredible. This is just part 1, and part 2 is coming, and maybe part 3 and part 4 and part 5. Who knows how long we're going to stick onto this thing. But guys, here's what we want you to know. We would love for you to be a part of what we're doing at the Collective Coaching. There's so many coaching companies that you could choose from in our industry, and we're not the company that's going to dog other companies to make us look good. We believe that we are your secret weapon for you to do something in 2025 that you've never been able to do before, that you haven't been able to do in a decade. And so we want to align with you to help you achieve something this year that maybe, if you're being honest right this second, you don't even believe is possible. And so you can go to thecollectivecoaching.com. You can come check out what we're doing. We'd love to have a conversation with you. And if you think any of the free content on the podcast is good, just wait until you get inside. Shane, I'm ready for part 2.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye, everybody.